There are magical and beautiful places in the world, perfect areas to visit and have extreme adventures, paradises created for our enjoyment by the hand of a merciful God. And then we come across the Pit of Doom, a real den of the creepiest monsters you could ever see in your life. It's located in Africa and is a place so inhospitable and dangerous that not even the native guides are willing to go near it. Its borders are limited by the animals that inhabit it, which are described by the local tribes as prehistoric monsters that don't accept strangers. Today we are going to learn some of the secrets of the trench, and you'll have the opportunity to walk through their very sinister valleys to discover what awaits inside, as long as you're prepared to accept the challenge. So, if you're determined to face some real monsters, then prepare yourself and get comfortable because the time has come to begin. The prehistoric monster-infested trench located in Africa. Our story begins in 1920, just 2 years after the First World War. The world was very different from the one we know today, especially in a place as remote as northern Rhodesia, a former British colony that didn't used to belong to present-day Zambia. This was one of those places that Westerners used to escape from European chaos, wars, crisis, and a world of violence. At that time, northern Rhodesia was the preferred area for hunters and adventurers. This vast territory was untouched and unexplored. Wild species abounded in the forests, valleys, and grasslands, and at all the mercy of a good hunt and a brave man's desire to explore. Predictably, there were many brave ones at that time. The most daring explorations began every day. The results were gigantic feasts and priceless trophies of exotic and monstrous species such as white lions, bighorn wild boars, monstrous elephants, and countless other animals that, at the time, possessed sizes that would seem simply monstrous to us today. However, in the midst of all this bloody hunting, a group of explorers crossed the wrong corner and came upon a territory that the natives considered forbidden. Many called it the Pit of Doom, although the more appropriate name was the Forbidden Pit, a deep valley inhabited by sinister and prehistoric creatures that very few people had seen, at least up to that time. This encouraged Western hunters even more because they believed it to be nothing more than hearsay. To their misfortune, they ended up proving the veracity of those warnings. The mysterious pit that the Mashona and Matabele tribes had avoided for decades was approximately 30 meters wide or more than 3 times as long. There was lush vegetation inside and, according to local accounts, it housed all types of prehistoric beasts, similar to dinosaurs or strange reptilian-like beasts. Each of these creatures seemed to have a voracious appetite, and only the bones of their victims could be seen on the ground. Howls, hisses, and all kinds of roars could also be heard coming from within. Even from a distance, the pit was imposing and chilling. To any sane person, it would have meant the edge of the world and a place best left undisturbed, but the hunters decided to take a chance and enter armed with their rifles. The expedition was led by Mr. Worthington, an expert hunter and native commissioner of the area. For weeks, no native guide dared to apply to accompany the large group, but by October 1925, a brave one appeared and the group set out to the Forbidden Pit. Upon arrival, everyone felt eerie respect for the place. The sounds of nature emerged even from the rocks. The atmosphere was charged with a strange sense of danger. The undergrowth was so abominable that the roots of the trees were monstrous, just as the bushes and shrubs. Accessing the heart of the pit was a difficult job. Every step led them to their doom. And yet, there was nothing moving in that place. The world seemed to have stopped. The man advanced timidly, step by step, traversing deeper and deeper ground. Then a strange shape emerged from the undergrowth. At first, the hunters couldn't appreciate its dimensions, but it was long, thick, with shapeless limbs, a grotesque head, and a reptilian face. Its sound was chilling, as it resembled a human scream but much thicker and reptilian. The hunters opened fire on the beast instantly. They had no doubts. This was something never seen before, a being impossible to explain, so they had to hunt it as soon as possible. However, the creature turned out to be much more skillful than the man. Its body adopted swift and zigzagging movements. Bullets failed to hit its thick skin and, for some strange reason, instead of attacking them, it simply evaded them and escaped to the north. For several days, the hunters tried to find other such creatures, but the strange monsters seemed to have hidden in an unknown corner. The trench was full of grotesque creatures, but they all kept an unnatural distance from their hunters. For this reason, newspapers such as the New Zealand Guardian and the Ellesmere Guardian covered the news as if they were simply legends of the local tribes. Somehow, they had reasons to think this way. The creatures were never captured. In fact, no one managed to see them. However, their sounds and the rest of the victims they managed to feed on were present everywhere. It was as if there was a world hidden from the human eye. All traces indicated that there was abundant life in that pit. The fecal scats of the animals also provided an approximation of the creatures that remain in this place. Some surprising analyses were able to relate the excrement in this area to large reptiles such as the plesiosaurs, but no such specimen was ever located. The Vermilion Trench seemed to be a huge lie, but at the same time, natives, tourists, and Westerners continued to keep a healthy distance from this place. No one dismissed the possibility that this place hides mysterious secrets and enigmas that sooner or later will eventually come to light. However, until this becomes a reality, this forbidden pit continues to generate doubts, even among today's visitors. No one can deny that the atmosphere of this place exudes a chilling vibe, an atmosphere that, for many, is a clear indicator that they should leave without looking back. Of course, places like this abound on our planet, even if we're almost completely unaware of their existence. In fact, there are even worse places whose roots seems to show us that nothing is what it seems, and if you're willing to continue to know the lost territories on the maps or places that many prefer not to talk about at all, you'd better join us once again. Dare to follow our steps into an unknown world and you'll discover that monsters still exist out there. Are you ready? Then check out these videos.